We'll stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I just want to thank everybody for being so flexible and being able to reschedule the meeting for today. So thank you very much for doing that. We have no guests. Do we have any appointments that we're aware of? No. Okay. We have a public hearing. I'm sorry, Yvette, would you like to do that? Tell us about the public hearing, what we are.
Okay. So
Make sure your light's on.
I'll just read the legal notice that was posted and also published in the Union Leader on September 6, 2019. Residents of Merrimack are hereby advised that the Merrimack Public Library Board of Trustees will hold a public hearing to authorize the acceptance and expenditure of donated funds of $5,000 from DCU pursuant to RSA 202-A:4-C3, parentheses A. This is a donation for programs that make a difference in our community. The public hearing will be held today, Thursday, September 19th at 7 p.m. in the Merrimack Memorial Room, which is we're in the Matthew Thornton Room, located at 8 Babusick Lake Road in Merrimack. The Library Trustees' monthly business meeting will immediately follow.
So do we need a motion to accept this?
I make a motion to accept the donation from DCU of $5,000.
Second?
Is there any discussion?
Who seconded?
Oh, Laura did. Any discussion, any questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you to DCU.
All right, so
Yes,
let's,
thank you to DCU.
all in favor? Accept. Wonderful, thank you. Old business, the Stivler Space Program. You'll notice on the agenda, the name has been changed from the joint boards because it was very confusing. So we changed it to the Building Exploratory Committee to clarify when we're talking about it. There's some discussion about getting together to meet with the architects. Yvette was going to reach out to the chair and treasurer for the different boards and see what would work best. Do you have anything to report on that, Yvette? Has anyone gotten back to you?
Not really yet.
Nothing formal, okay.
I mean, my question is, on both the Friends and trustee boards, there was a change in chair. Claire Muse was the chair, president of the Friends, and now Victoria Agnew is the new president. And Claire had attended all of these meetings so far. Same with this board, you know, Laura was the chair and she had also attended all these meetings. But now you're the chair, so I'm not sure what you would like to do in terms of having the previous attendees that continue to attend with the new attendees. It's up to you.
Well, I think continuity is great. It's really, Laura, would you like to continue to attend this meeting? What's your thought on that?
I would actually.
Okay.
I would like to see how it evolves, but I do believe that it would be appropriate for the chair to attend as well.
Yep.
I don't want to clutter up the room.
I don't think it would be cluttering up the room. I think the more voices,
But
the
I
better.
think that it would be good to have a
Mhm.
couple of trustees attending overall. So yes, but I do think it's important that the chair
Mhm.
attend.
Okay,
Um,
can I?
Go ahead.
We'll have 3 trustees present, so that means we'll need to post
Oh,
it
who's
as
the
a.
third?
Janet.
The
Oh, you're
treasurer
going as
goes.
well?
Because it's the chair and the treasurer.
Oh,
each group.
okay. Well, maybe then it's not necessary for me to attend. I've forgotten you were going. I apologize.
I don't know that, I mean, I think that my feeling is if Karen and Janice wanted to attend too, like that's an option. I don't see any problem with just posting that we will be there. I don't think there'll be anything to vote on. It's more of an exploratory and an information gathering situation, right?
Yes, yeah,
So,
okay.
what is everybody's thought? What are your thoughts
Okay.
on that?
How often does that mean?
Well, that's actually one of the questions right now is whether we meet once to hear what the 3 architects have to say, or if we have 3 separate meetings. So that's sort of up in the air right now.
Okay.
I certainly wouldn't want to discourage anyone on the board from going and participating, and I personally would have no problem with saying, there's 3 people there, we post it, but I don't believe there's gonna be anything that's voted on. It's really just information gathering. Is that your understanding also?
Yeah.
That's-
I think you just have to agree to not discuss things that could be voted on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, because it is information gathering, you're correct. I think I only heard from Bill Cummings from the MPL Development Fund, who said he would prefer one meeting.
Okay,
But I really haven't heard from everyone else, and it's, you know, there's 6 people who attend
yeah.
so far.
I would agree with Bill on one meeting,
Yeah,
but I,
I would as well.
so,
That's fine.
I'm good for one, too.
So are you saying, if you just help me out here,
Uh-huh.
does each architect get half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? I mean, I don't want to make you stay for a meeting that's, you know, I wouldn't want to suggest a 3-hour meeting.
correct,
That's
right.
really hard to
Mhm.
stay focused. How much time do you think you'd want to hear from each person?
What specifically are they going to address?
The space study, what the potential cost might be for that, is it feasible? You know, those were the
For the
questions.
renovation type study?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then also compared to a new building, because I think the last thing, if you remember, we were talking about
Yeah.
was,
what's the, yeah,
okay, what we really need to compare apples to apples.
Yeah.
And what's feasible about the plan. The plan is a nice drawing, but is
Yeah.
it
Right.
really possible
Mhm.
to put a wall there or take a wall down and so on?
yeah.
So it's really just getting a better idea from an architect. So those are the kind of questions that they hopefully could address.
So will these folks come with having studied this ahead of time?
Yes.
So so they're just going to report on what the fact they've already found out?
Yes, but it's not a bid. We're not
No, not a
anywhere
bid.
near
I
that.
just-
It's just,
They
you know,
already were prepped, is what I'm.
they will be
so
prepped, but I don't think anyone can, you know, hear a dollar amount and say, oh, that's it. It's gonna be
Right.
estimates. This is still,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you
Just
know,
feasibility
okay.
and what,
absolutely,
and,
yes,
yep.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I would
And what
think
their
that-
vision would be, too.
I would think 30 minutes would be adequate, possible 15-minute question period, but.
So 45 minutes total?
That's what I'm wondering, because everybody has questions, and we have to allow for that. There's 3 of them, so that is going to take a little time. That's just sort of my thought about it, about maybe 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes per architect.
I still think it will end up being about a 3-hour meeting.
Yeah, because then you're gonna have downtime changing.
Changing as
people.
well as, even if everybody ended on time, us amongst would be like, oh, well, you know, I liked the second guy for this person, the first person did this, and so,
Maybe it would be easier to do 2 meetings just because of that, because it'll be during the week, it gets late, people wane.
I think we should also ask the architects, honestly, if someone
Okay.
want to come out at 8:30 to do a presentation. You know, if you're looking at a
Right.
3-hour
Mhm.
meeting, you have people coming later. They
Yeah.
may actually prefer a 2-hour or 2 different days so that we see
Yeah.
2 back-to-back and then
Yeah.
do another one another day. I think the fewer meetings we can have, the better, and the
Yeah.
closer together, the better, to get all that information, and then we can move forward with what we're thinking.
Yeah,
Would they be able to give us a sense of, hey, we typically do a 30-minute presentation?
they might.
Yeah.
I can ask. So I'll get back to these architects, and my goal will be, 1 meeting, try to get to 30 minutes, maybe 45-minute presentation, and also have an option of, if it has to be scheduled over 2 days.
Mhm. Great.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that. I
I'll-
know it's a lot of
I'll
scheduling, but I
take
think
care
that
of
would
it.
work. Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Anything else for the Stabler Space Program? Okay.
Get your,
Just one last question.
Sure.
Would it be possible, once we know all those dates, then decide who and how many necessarily could go? Like,
Sure.
we might have a date that we cannot in
Of course.
fact go, or.
Sure.
Well, and I just want to put this out there. Initially, because it was going to be a large group with 6 people, you know, with people representing each group, each committee, each board,
Mhm.
then we tried to limit it, so it's not all of the Friends Board coming and all of the Development Fund coming.
Mhm.
That would make it, you know, like 18 people sitting around a table.
But I also think that they're looking for direction from the trustees.
Okay.
So the more trustee input we can have, and if we all are hearing the same things, I think that would be valuable.
Okay.
So that would be
Yeah,
my.
I agree with
discussion.
you.
Can I ask if we might have all trustees, any evenings that absolutely do not work?
Can we send them to you?
Absolutely.
So can we all agree
Please
that
do.
we will send Yvette any evenings we have coming up in
Great. So,
October?
This is
that-
all
yeah, look
October.
for October,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, by
Friday,
now it's
Saturday,
probably
Sunday.
mid to end.
What did you say?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So, can we put that on one of our action items, Karen, that everybody will send Yvette?
Oh, I
the?
have to do something.
I'm doing it right now.
Thank you.
I already looked. I know what days.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so should we move on to the August action items? Okay, I have, in looking at them, the first one was reviewing raises for staff. We're going to be discussing that later on this evening. The second one is ongoing, and I haven't done anything about that. I would like to go to some board meetings in local, at local libraries, so once I make some contacts, I'll see if anybody can join me. Another trustee would like to go. Let's see, number 3, review the graphic displays of library statistics and decide on the form that will be required. We did have that as item C coming up, I believe, or if people are happy with that. We can discuss that now if everybody's okay with that. Are
I'm
people
sorry, I was concentrating on
That's okay.
trying to get this open. What did you say?
We wanted to discuss the graphic display of library statistics that Yvette gave us, this one.
I thought that was a fun look.
Were you looking for some specific feedback, Yvette, about what you would like or would not like? Or-
I don't actually think it was just limited to the graphic,
No,
but
it wasn't.
just, you know, in general, the librarians collect data on everything. More than any of us need. You know, it's just, we just collect everything. So if there's an area that you want to see or see more detail on, just let me know and we can totally provide that. You know, we're trying to update, what you're seeing, what is, you know, makes sense,
Mhm.
not so minute about, you know, things that seem like they're too granular, but at the same time, I don't wanna not show you what you want. So we're just what you want.
The spreadsheets that you gave us the other day, or last month rather, were really comprehensive. There was a lot of
Well, you know,
information
yeah.
there, so this was just a great way to
Mhm.
look at it all. Was there anything that struck people about this or the other statistics? Sarah?
I do have a couple questions about this,
Mhm.
but it's, some of it's just for clarity. Like it's 50 passport applications completed just since May. So like since May 2019. The South Merrimack Fire Station book drop return, yes, it highlights that it is there, but in comparison to, like, just to highlight that, more like we have 2, but also know that this one's there. So.
Or you're saying to add
like
the
to-
ones at the regular
Yeah, add the
library?
other one, not necessarily say that we get thousands at the library, but just say we have one at the library and we have this one that has gotten 850 returns.
Okay, I don't know that we count the returns that are returned at the one near the building.
Right, I didn't expect you to.
Okay.
It was more like just to say that there are 2 locations, because it sounds like there's no location at the library. One other thing I would like, I don't know if you can do this, but number of unique users on the Wi-Fi,
Yeah, we can.
like that would be nice to know.
I'll find out.
Can I ask, maybe I'm confused. There's this document that's like a little poster.
Yeah.
And then there's several other reports that we've had or maybe have been compiled in the last few months. Are we looking at 2 different things, like this for sort of public consumption and then a report for the board? Or are we trying to use this as a report for the board?
Are you
Did this-
asking me or are you asking me that?
I'm asking everyone, I guess. I thought we were discussing 2 issues. A, this, and how else do we want statistics
I think you're correct.
provided
I think
to
you're
the board?
correct, too.
Okay.
I mean, and Yvette, correct me if I'm wrong, are there other things that we want to see reported, right? Or
Mhm.
that we're concerned about, so. I can't imagine there's something else that you're not counting, although it
Exactly.
seems like there's a lot.
That's what,
I mean,
exactly.
The thing about the Wi-Fi, anytime someone walks into the library with a phone, they're on our
Sure.
Wi-Fi.
Then I
So probably we can't collect literally every Wi-Fi connection.
Sure.
So I'll see what we are
Well, maybe it's
recording.
just somebody, exactly, maybe it's just, the computer
Sure.
people.
We'll,
But that's a service that the library does, and instead of, because you just count how many, like, the library computers, but there are a ton of people on their own devices that come in.
yeah,
So,
we'll see what we can do.
okay.
No, this was intended to be posted
Yes.
at the library, right?
Posted at the library, and put out on social media, submitted to the town report. I mean, right now I have to go back and make the corrections and then, yeah.
Right. I think it's a fun way to look at the statistics for what might interest the public in general. I don't know that all these details would, but I think this was a fun way to look at it. I found it interesting, when I first looked at it, it was engaging, I guess is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
That's it.
And I'm knowing Yvette, I know if you have additional feedback, I'm sure you'd be happy to hear it if there's other things that we've covered.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
I hate to beleaguer this point, but all the other documents that were provided to us, a lot of them were things we had asked for in the past. Are we just not dealing with them? Like, we asked for past usage statistics on the passes that we have at the library.
Yeah.
Are we keeping those, or are we discarding these other documents?
No.
Oh, I think those are
Oh,
all
no,
supporting
no.
documents for
It's-
this, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
that's,
Okay.
that, like, it was, like, this was just to show the general population, like, what the library
So-
is giving you. And like, even up on here, it says how many passes were used. But for us, we have the nitty-gritties of how many went to the Museum of Science, how many went to the aquarium. But as a total, which the population might be more interested in, is that it was 971.
Right. So the information I have from the action item was graphic display of statistics and decide on the best formats for a quarterly report to the LBOT.
Right,
So I feel like it's two separate issues,
it is.
and I don't wanna beleaguer the point, and if we need to table it and come back to the second part of this.
You know what, they changed their format from last quarter to the most current quarter. And maybe that's where the action item came in. Like, do we like the old way, or do we like that things got consolidated?
Right.
Right.
And,
Right.
got rearranged differently, even though it's the same information, it's just displayed in a better way, which I happen to like. I like the new way of looking at it.
Meaning just this poster.
No.
no,
No,
there was
just the
another one.
spreadsheets.
Okay.
Spreadsheet.
So
spreadsheets
we're not,
have been
we're not proposing to change the spreadsheet that we currently get.
No.
Okay.
Unless you wanna add something or,
Right.
yeah, no, unless you want to, it's whatever you want. The spreadsheet of statistics, does look different than everything you've ever gotten before.
Right.
Because we
Right.
thought it was, a little too granular, and cumbersome, I think. So if there's stuff that we might have omitted, that you do wanna see real a lot of detail on it, we can add it back. In addition, every year, at the end of the year, so August, when the fiscal year is over and our stats are totally counted up for the year, we'll put out another graphic. And that's just fun.
Okay.
That's out for the public, but for you guys, you can get your quarterly report as always with any information you want. If you want everything, every little
Right.
count of hash mark,
Right.
that, it's a lot of spreadsheets. I don't think I've seen all of it, cause they send me
Right,
reports
they get,
too,
right,
I
right, they're
mean,
gonna
it's
streamline for you
a
what is
little-
important for you and what's,
Right, so, but it depends on what you wanna look at.
Well,
You know.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I would like for the next quarter, which is only 3 months, is pretty, it's not
Mhm.
super long. I'll take the new spreadsheet format And when I actually look at it to use it, not deluged with old and new and everything else, then I can see if there's anything that I would like to see, or if there's too much of something or whatever, and I'll just make a suggestion then.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like this is just gonna be a working document, that we can look at
Sure.
it and see
Yeah.
what the needs are and what needs to be counted. But thank you for helping us clarify that, yes. Okay,
Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, yep, that's good.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, so our next action item was about the transfer of funds. We have that on our agenda for later on. And reviewing the trustee and trust fund and non-trust fund investment policies. We also have that on our agenda for later on this evening. So we will be addressing both of those. Oh, that's coming up next. And the CIP is the next item on the agenda. So just in reviewing our August action items, it looks like we're
okay.
going to be taking care of a lot of those this evening.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. Let's see. We dealt with the statistics. We're moving on to the KIP. So Janet and Yvette and I met, and we looked at what was happening in the past and what to look at going forward. And Yvette sent us all a narrative and then also the spreadsheet that shows what's happening this year, what's finished, and what's outstanding from the given timeline. Did anybody have any thoughts, questions, or comments on? Laura, did you have something?
Let's see.
I feel like you do.
I
Yeah,
know.
come on, say it. Go ahead.
No, I'm confused, that's all.
Okay.
'Cause I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't?
You want to swap?
No, it's all right. I'm not sure. Are you talking about the, yeah, you're on the same sheet I am. Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure because I
Yep.
couldn't, I just couldn't hear you, that's all.
Okay.
That's me, not
Um,
you.
All right, so I can speak more clearly into the microphone also. So, yeah, it looks like some things have been accomplished. Some things are more placeholders. The library sidewalk replacement, just a placeholder. The library slate roof, placeholder. One of the things we discussed is that to make a decision about a roof when we're also meeting with architects to talk about what the future of the building is sort of not a great idea. We should wait and see what direction we think things are going with the building, because that might really shape our decision about what to do about the roof. Elevator also. So that's where we're at. And the new library placeholder, and you can see that Yvette has deleted some things, the library evaluation, the children's room window, the drain evaluation was connected to the window project, the granite steps replacement repair, and the bookmobile.
And the children's room project is off because we're actually doing it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question about the HVAC. Because it's such an outdated system, I don't know how they're actually set up inside a building exactly, or how this one is. Does that mean they would have to tear down walls and pull out ceiling parts the way, I don't know how it weaves through the building, and I'm wondering the impact it would have in replacing it on the building. Do you have any idea about that?
Yeah, there are units throughout the building, and they're separate from each other. So each unit you can control at that unit.
Okay, so there's
Turn it
not
on,
a
turn it off.
central.
There is and there isn't.
There is, oh, I knew
There's
there
a
was catch.
there's a turn on, and then there's manual control at the unit. If you want
Okay.
like a little bit of a temperature control. Because it's a public building,
Mm.
Jared will set, this particular unit that's in the Lowell room, let's say, and then put a sign on, please don't adjust this, because then everyone is touching it and, but there is a central turn on in the maintenance room and so forth. And then the vents run through both the floor and the ceiling. So in terms of tearing it out, I imagine it's pretty big. Because you have to think, when you walk through the library, there are vents in the floor,
Mhm,
and that's where
right
the air
there.
comes up.
Yeah.
And some of them are intake, some are like outtake
Mhm.
vents. and Jared knows which one's which. You can tell if you walk through the building,
Yeah.
which one is blowing and which one's not blowing.
Okay.
But that's where the vents are.
That's something.
So down in the floor and also
Big
in the ceiling.
project.
Yeah, and you can see, is that gonna say 2024 to 2025, going forward?
We just put it out at the farthest date because it's an unknown,
Mhm.
because it is such an impact on the building. Obviously, if we're renovating the building,
Yeah,
then
Right,
we'd say,
so-
okay, let's do
Yeah.
this.
Right.
And the sprinkler,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
that's
which
an
makes
obvious.
sense. Okay.
I don't, is it possible, since they're all separate, to change out, like your unit, or are they just so old that you can't change them out? Or is it not worth it?
That's a really good question. I imagine it's not worth it. You know, I can't really speak as an expert on this, but, you know, we've had repairs done, and I can't say upgrades, we've had repairs done
Right.
to each unit.
Mhm.
And it just reminds me of, you know, like that image of, you know, making a silk purse out of a sow's ear. You know, you can make a sow's ear purse out of a sow's ear, and that's perfectly functional, you know, as a purse, but it's not a silk purse. You know, so you can't change one thing into
Tends
another.
to
I think
shed.
it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sow's ear will shed.
Okay.
Great, so we'll be giving this to Paul McCallie. and,
Unless you have any changes.
Right, are there any items that you would like to see changed? Is there anything?
I had one question, which is
Sure.
I think obviously if any of these become a pressing issue,
Yeah,
that we could address
yeah,
that.
I don't think that we're saying that,
We
these,
have
if
to
they, if
address
we
it.
had to, we'd have to,
Yeah,
right? There would
right.
be, I think this is also a great way to let people know what the building, the status of the building, the things that are really problems in the building. We are aware of it, we know it's out there, we want people to understand what we're dealing with, so. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. The next item on our agenda was the Library Board of Trustees manual review, which I am going to propose that we table for this evening, only because while we did stick to 10 very succinct minutes last time, we have some actual business to deal with that I think is more pressing, including the salary discussion and investments. So unless anyone disagrees, I would just propose that we leave that on there, but not discuss it tonight. Is that okay with everybody? I think those 10 minutes can be
Yes.
spent.
So I'm going to leave it as a continuing action item.
Please, that would be wonderful. Thank you. And, okay. Next, investment of the Library Board of Trustee funds. Last meeting, Janet gave us the information on the Fidelity NASDAQ Composite Index Fund and also the Fidelity Blue Chip Growth Fund. Did anyone have any thoughts about how we should, which direction we should go with the money? Anyone?
I was looking over the difference, which appears to be somewhat minimal,
Mhm.
and the suggestions were 10,000 in one, 10,000 in another, or split half and half. No, 10,000 in one or the other, and then split,
Mm-hmm.
or split 5,000 and 5,000. I just, my reaction to that was, maybe it's making it more complicated if we split 5,000 and 5,000, and because the growth is really comparable.
Yeah, nearly identical.
Especially
Yeah.
for the 10,000, just for that amount of money. I
Mhm.
don't think it's worth it to have two more accounts to deal with paperwork and
Yeah.
technology and all that stuff. Just make it simple and
Right.
and
So
get
which
as
one
much
do you
as we
want?
can.
Well, the 10-year on the blue chip was 16.92%. On the NASDAQ composite was 16.36.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
So,
What is the treasurer's recommendation?
Oh, I liked both of them. The goal was growth, so I just didn't think we could go wrong with either one of them.
Mhm.
So honestly, it doesn't matter to me.
I tend to favor blue chip, but
Okay. Anyone have any? Has a 5-star rating. I don't
Yeah.
think we can go
yeah,
wrong.
no,
So,
we can't go wrong.
would you like to make a motion?
well, it's a stock market
Well, yeah.
You
But
can
it's
go
also,
wrong.
it's also 10 years, and if we're looking
Yeah.
between these two.
Yeah, the goal is
if
growth
it's-
for long-term.
Right,
So,
so.
which is
Yeah.
why it's, I mean, I don't wanna say it's only 10,000, but it's not the majority of what's
Mhm.
sitting in the bank
Right,
account, so.
Right.
Right, but it's fiscally responsible for us to try to get some growth out of this
Sure,
and to use a
absolutely.
Yeah.
good conservative fund would be a great way to do it, so.
Well, blue chip isn't
That's
necessarily
not
conservative.
Well, but if you're looking at it over the course of 10 years, you're not looking at something that's going to go up and down in the way that you might think that, you know.
That's fine. Let's do the blue chip.
Set 'em.
I move that we invest $10,000 in the blue chip. Where's the money coming from? Special?
Fines.
Fines. Oh, in the $10,000 from fines into the Fidelity Blue Chip Fund.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Terms? Okay, all in favor?
Wait, that's all right. Who seconded, Janet?
I did.
Okay.
That's an action item for me, because I have to use money.
And that's an action item for Janet. She was saying it very quietly, but I want to make sure you get it.
Okay, I have to move money
Well,
now.
do you want me to put it in the minutes?
Yeah. Just actually what you did is fine. Just saying that it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, new business. Are there any library policies for the trustees to review?
No.
Okay. Next, operating budget. We have the general ledger, the invoice manifest. Any concerns or questions for Yvette?
Operating budget.
I didn't have any.
I didn't even.
Laura, do you have any
Mm-mm.
concerns or questions?
No.
Okay. Moving on. C, 2020-21 budget draft. Do you have any,
I think that's more Janet.
Yeah, that's, no,
just a placeholder? Okay.
it's placeholder.
And moving on to the director's report.
Wait,
Sorry, Karen, sorry.
wait.
It's not a bad thing. It's all fine.
It's good, but it's just,
I know. Keeping us on our toes.
Let's go. Janet said 7:30, so.
Maybe
we're
we-
like-
We already missed it.
You're taking bets now.
Goals.
Our goal is to be out of here at 8:30.
what?
Did we
Yeah.
cover the action item review, the trust fund and non-trust fund
We're-
investment policy? Is that
We'll
later?
be doing that. Yep, we'll be
Okay.
doing that with
I just
Janet's
missed
report.
that.
Yep.
Sorry.
No problem.
It's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's
yes,
that's
report.
committee. I'm sorry. That's with the committee
Janet, do
updates.
you have an agenda?
I do, I'm looking at it right here.
Okay, okay. 'Cause
Yeah, it's
down at
down
the bottom.
under LBOC committees, finance committee.
All right.
Okay, so operating budget, A, B, C,
Mhm.
no questions on any of that. We are now at the director's report.
Correct. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yvette.
Yes, okay. So, you did your public meeting, so that's taken care of. Under personnel, we've extended a conditional offer of employment to Kelly Pittman for the 17-hour circulation aid position. So I have her PAR, her personnel action request, which we submit to the finance department, and I need your signature. And also you can vote to accept her hiring.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept Kelly Pittman for the, what is it, the 17-hour circulation aid position.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm going to abstain.
You had something in the director's report about meeting with the Lions Club regarding a donation or partnership.
I'll get to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I need to know the name of who made the motion,
Janet, right? I did.
okay, and for the hiring of Kelly Pittman. Janet
moved, and who seconded? Laura. Thank you. Okay, are we up to resignation?
We're up to Kristen Russell. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, Kristen Russell.
Yes.
That's it.
So Kristen Russell, she was our summer intern in the Youth Services Department. And this is more like housekeeping because her position has ended. But we just need to have her removed from payroll. So if you could also sign that, I can send that over to finance. There's multiple copies.
Well, I need that other one document too, because I didn't
Are you
realize
serious?
that. Yeah,
Oh,
I did.
jeez.
Well,
Sorry,
I
we
haven't
always
done
do
it.
3. It's just easier. It's easier for
Okay,
us, maybe.
thank you. Okay.
Then everyone gets a fresh, actual, unique signature,
Okay.
not copies.
I can sign and listen. Go ahead.
I don't know that you needed to vote to terminate. I mean, there was a termination and there was an end date on her position, so. And I have a resignation letter from Jenny DeVost. Jenny has worked in our Youth Services Department as a part-time aide and is leaving to take a full-time teaching job. Her last day will be September 29th, but she'll be available to work as a substitute while we open the position up again. And I have her letter if you want to read it. And I don't have her PAR yet because I just got this yesterday, her letter, and we still have some time before she's leaving us, and at that point, the PR will say go from this position to a sub, and if we need
Okay.
her, we can call on her.
Great.
So if you
Well,
want.
congratulations to her.
But you do need to vote to accept a termination, and then when the paperwork is ready, you'll sign it.
I motion that we accept the termination, or resignation, letter from Jenny DeVost with, what do they say, with regrets?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to say that.
I know,
You can
but
say
people
it
work
if you want
hard,
to.
so.
I second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All in favor? We're accepting. Just leave it. Okay.
Okay, I highlighted a couple of things that I wanted to make sure I brought up with you in my report, but if there's anything else that you want to know about, I'm certainly happy to try and address it. So to start with, Laura, your question, I met with Michelle Lettinen from the Merrimack Lions Club in August. We don't have anything decided, but she just wanted to ask me if we would be interested in some kind of partnership. She said that they noticed that the library was doing a lot of things, always busy, very pleased with what they're seeing at the library, and they'd love to donate some money to us for something. And, you know, what did I think we needed? And I said, well, what are your restrictions? You know, it could go towards a program or something in the collection, or, you know, so she said she would go back to her board and see what they say. So we're still kind of, you know.
Maybe partnering in a community program of some sort that's out in the.
One of the things that she did talk about in terms of like maybe a joint program would be, I believe it was a hearing, help me out, what is this called?
Hearing.
Like hearing screening?
Screening, thank
Oh.
you. Yeah, a screening. That's also a maybe. You know, some of their things that they focus on, you know, in terms of their service
Yeah.
areas. You know, I said we'd be happy to host, you know, we host, you know, flu clinics and, you know, I mean, we will host these kind of things and have mobile
Vision,
nurses come in.
hearing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
sure.
That's
You know.
great, yeah.
So, you know, I think with the hearing, what she was saying is the machine to use for the screenings is heavy. So we need to kind of find a place and have it be there for a little while. And I said, we can accommodate that, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Just let me know what you want, so.
Have they mentioned the scarecrows?
That project has ended. It's kind of lived
Oh.
its life.
Oh,
Yeah, she did donate, on behalf of the Lions, a couple of scarecrows for the turkey shoot. So
Oh,
we
that's
can
nice.
raffle those off, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they, because we were talking, I said, we'd be happy to host you, if you wanna get some volunteers together to have a table at the turkey shoot, you're gonna have a donated item there, maybe talk to people about all the things that the Lions do in Merrimack. It's fine. The more the merrier at the turkey shoot, so.
Mhm.
So she's going back to her board and talking to see what they might wanna do. But I have no dollar amount.
Oh, good.
I said, we're
Yeah.
happy with, $1, and we're happy with $1 million.
We're waiting for that endowment to show
Yes.
up.
So, but that's that. Okay, other things that I highlighted.
Wait, can I
Um,
just, before you do, I
absolutely.
just want to say that I think that speaks really well of the library, that she reached out to you. We really appreciate that, but it shows that people are seeing all the wonderful things that are happening there. So that's really lovely.
Yeah, it's very nice. Thank you. So Joanne and I met with Eric from Northern Lights on September 13th about the Granite Steps project. So I called, I want to say about 10 vendors. I received some recommendations from other vendors, other librarians, and basically, as far as I can see, we have one vendor who came to the library and gave us a quote. There was one other vendor who said, not interested. And then most of the other vendors that I talked to on the phone said, we don't do this kind of work. So, as far as I know, I feel like I made lots and lots of phone calls. I don't have 3 for you, I have 1. So I did include for you, I believe I included that quote in your packet, just so
Yes.
you
Yes,
could
you did.
Yep.
see it. So basically, what he's saying is remove all of the existing steps, rather than do a piecemeal. What he described, if you remember what the steps look like, there are like 3 bottom steps and then maybe 5 top steps. And the bottom steps have they've come up.
Yeah.
So, somewhere along the way, water got under it and now it's, so
It heaved.
now it heaved, and so now just take everything out, just start over. Much simpler, he said. So I think it's probably a 2-day project, 1 to take out, 1 to put in. Taking out is faster. We would need to talk to the police department and the DPW about blocking the road, that's that turn, thing, so, that's all doable. We can do that, but it would just mean that's, it's blocking the road. So, another thing he said would be to remove the railings, have them refurbished. That's a whole separate project, not his company. I don't know what that costs, but that would be another bunch of phone calls. And then do the steps, and then have the railings put back in, not the middle one. He didn't think the middle one, aesthetically or for any practical purposes needed to be there. So that's kind of what we had. If you want to move on this immediately, I need to call him and we book it, and he could do it this fall. If you're not ready to move on this immediately, then it would just be, next spring,
I kind of
summer.
would like to wait until after we hear from the architects and get a feel for that first, personally, before starting to spend major money.
But this will only affect the original library steps.
It's the exterior, yeah.
Yeah.
And the ones that are out on the
I
sidewalks.
think it needs to be done,
so-
don't get me wrong. But,
My only other question was, would fixing the children's room somehow affect the ground?
No.
Okay, but they wouldn't want to do it now.
It's two totally separate projects that aren't close to each other.
Right, that's
Actually-
all I was wondering
The
about.
old building, nothing's gonna change with the old building, so that the exterior, it won't matter if we do the steps now or then, will it?
I don't think so.
That's right, it won't matter. So we may as well move forward with it.
My question is, if they take the railings out, is that up to code to have the steps with no railings? Would we need, even if that, I mean, do you have to have railings on the steps? Do we need to find out how much it's gonna cost to get the railings installed from somebody else, or?
Well, I think you need railings.
Yeah, well, no, but I know, but you can have steps without railings. It depends how tall it is, you know, there's a
I think
certain
it's
number
only
of
like 2 steps.
So then we would have to know how much that's gonna be too, right? We
Mhm.
are, and do you have somebody that could do that?
No.
Okay.
Does he know, does he know who he would go with?
Oh, yes, he gave me a vendor, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's really one big project with the railings and everything. That's one big project. 'Cause you'd want the railings put on
Right,
right
right,
after the
yes.
steps
Yeah.
were installed.
So almost is contingent on how quickly we can get an estimate from someone to repair
So once
the
we know
railings
that-
and
Well, and
then.
they need to be available, right? So
Right.
when Northern Lights can do the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
then they have to be lined up to do the railings
Mhm.
also.
Is this an estimate that has a expiration
No,
date on it? I
Did
didn't
he
see
give you an
that,
idea of
but-
how long this would take?
2 days.
Oh. That's not bad.
Could he get you a vendor for,
I have the vendor, I
okay,
can
so you
call him.
can call him and see. Okay, sorry.
So it's gonna be a event action item.
Would we like to move forward with this project?
Yeah.
So should we give Yvette the green light on this?
I will let you know what the quote is for the
Okay.
iron
Well,
railings
I
before
can't
I do
imagine-
anything, I mean, you know.
I can imagine it's gonna be that, but yes, if you could get that and
I
then,
have no idea what it would be.
okay.
Don't the ones we have now, aren't they rusty-ish? What don't we
They
need
need
just
to
to
be-
replace them?
No,
No?
replacing it is more expensive.
Oh, it is?
Refurbishing, oh,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
it's, yeah, it's
oh,
iron, yeah.
Yeah.
So if
It's
we
not that
just, he said it would be too much to
unusual.
actually replace.
Oh,
But, you know, sanding them down, refinishing, and then installing would be
It'll be
much
like
more,
that.
okay.
res- you know.
Done it to my own stairs, so I know it works.
okey dokey.
So is this something that we would like to bring up again and wait until October? What are people's feelings? I mean, I hate to see, get an amount and then make us, if we're gonna move forward with it, to wait that much longer. Seems-
Well, I don't know, I just assumed, I put it down as an action item for Yvette to get the quote on the railings for October.
Okay,
Well, I can email that around.
okay.
Yeah,
I
we
think we
can
had to
always
have a quick
gather quickly at the
meeting
library
to-
to vote on it
Yeah.
in the middle
To
of the
vote
month
on
if we
that.
need to.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah, you're hearing the same thing
Oh,
from each end.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't hear what she says.
okay,
Okay.
great.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Yvette.
Okay, other item that I highlighted, okay, so Joanne and I also met with, or we called a representative from a company called Aunt Flo, which provides feminine hygiene products in a coin-free dispenser. So it's not a coin-operated dispenser, there's no coin. It just dispenses these things for free. So that businesses can offer them at no cost to their patrons or customers. We investigated the service because the New Hampshire Senate recently passed SB 142 requiring school boards to make menstrual hygiene products available free of charge in restrooms dedicated to girls and in gender-neutral restrooms located in public, middle, and high schools. We would like to be proactive and provide these in the public library restrooms. My experience in talking with the other library directors in New Hampshire and the state librarian, he has brought the library directors in my consortium's information of things that are going on in the Senate that might affect the libraries because they're affecting the schools. I know I've talked to you before about public bathrooms, having neutral, gender-neutral bathrooms, one bathroom, handicap bathrooms, and all these things. And we haven't made those kind of changes in our bathrooms, but it's always something that we're watching because it's something the state librarian brings to us and trying to be proactive and change it so that there's no litigation brought to the library. This seemed like an easy, a very easy fix. Joanne and I both looked at the website, we talked to them. I'm supposed to get a sample to see what these products look like. There's not a lot of packaging, so in terms of, trash, creating a lot of trash, in terms of packaging, there's not a lot of that. It's, their argument is, toilet paper's free. When you kind of think of it that way, and also we're thinking a lot about accessibility and inclusiveness in the library, and Joanne and I both agreed that, if someone has a surprise visit from Aunt Flo, and they're at the library and they have to cut their visit short, or they feel uncomfortable in any way, why do that? If we could provide this service, and it's not limiting to people who don't have a coin in them. I don't carry money.
Oh,
who carries
true.
money?
Right.
So, or just for any kind of hindrance, it's just not hindering them. And it just seemed like being ahead of a trend that, especially if the schools are being required to do that. So the estimate that they gave us, they did some calculating based on how many people come into the library. They split that number by 50% to be female. Of that, they split it again another 14% based on who might be menstruating at any given time during their visit. Let's just say that word many times during this meeting. It's very uncomfortable to say.
It's reality.
I know, but it's just like, wow. Okay, so it's $200 for a dispenser. We don't have gender neutral bathrooms. We could put one in the men's room. That would be prudent. Probably. I don't want to limit people for where they're going to the bathroom, but, I don't know. But it's $200 per dispenser, assuming you have one in the ladies' room. And then it's a case of the law says you have to provide both pads and tampons, and that's equitable. So it's a dispenser that has two little, two sides, and then we just would estimate, they were estimating, well, you'd probably have this much in 6 months, and then we see, how many people come in now, for our door count, most of the time it's kids, so younger than middle school or younger, and then older folks, so past that age. So, we would just estimate, but we think it's nice. I want to know what you think. And I feel like I'm not talking to you on this side. I want to know what you think. What do you think?
I'm listening to you on this
sit-
side.
I should sit on that side so I can see all of you at once. Anyway, so that's Aunt Flo.
Well, I read it and thought it was a great idea.
I did too.
Oh,
So,
And I
okay.
looked
that was
at-
great.
You could have just said, Yvette, this is an easy
great.
sell.
Yeah, no, we wanted to make you say it. We wanted to make you sweat.
Couple
No,
Thank you.
I can just think of so many times when someone would be uncomfortable, and especially if we do encourage young people to come to the library. It's just a nice service to be able to. Yes.
It's nice.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
makes a
Yep.
pleasant visit, and
It really does, and
You
it'll
know,
make a difference.
I have
and
to
it shows
say-
people were thinking about. So.
I had a comment to talk about the men's room now. I had a comment from, that one of the staff overheard, about our men's room. And it was one dad saying to another dad, they had their sons in the bathroom, came out of the bathroom. Now, our urinal is enclosed in a stall, as well as the toilet in the men's room is enclosed in a stall. And the dad came out and said to the other dad, "This is the best men's room I've ever seen. The urinal is in a stall." And it's just like,
Yeah.
because
that's great.
you really need privacy.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably more sanitary on some level too, I would think.
We won't go
I mean,
there.
I'm not a man, so I don't know.
I think
I know I have a lot of
it's
pride in my
just-
house.
Yes, I think
Knowing that there's
I think
it's-
privacy to send your child in and know that the child
Yes.
has privacy.
yes.
That's,
Mhm.
Well,
Well, so what do we need to vote on?
money. I'm here asking for money. So this is not in the budget, because this would be a new service we could provide immediately, or we can wait
So
and
this
put
is-
it in the budget. We're thinking it's $700 for 6 months,
Including the 200 for the dispenser,
plus the 200 for the.
plus the
dispenser.
200
Yeah,
for the
so it would
dispenser.
be
So you're asking for
14,
$900.
14, 15, 16.
$1,600.
For the year.
For the year. I mean, we can
Mm-hmm.
see how it goes.
How much are you asking for?
1,600.
1,600. Oh, for a whole year, so a half
For the
year.
year.
Okay. Well, I move that we purchase the feminine products and the dispenser for a year's worth of products at $1,600, you said?
Yeah.
16? Yes, okay.
Where does that?
And that would come out of
That's fine.
special.
Come on, a special?
We have a special.
I think special, yeah.
We have the funds in special, right?
We do.
We do. And now that we're investing $10,000,
Out of fines.
well, out of funds. Who's going to second my motion?
I will second that
Yeah,
motion.
thank you.
Okay,
We've
that's
had quite a bit of discussion. Is there anything else that needs to be said?
Which $10,000 were you talking about?
I was just being facetious, never mind.
Okay.
So we're voting on 1,600. Make sure that.
But I don't have a second.
I did, I
I'm
seconded it, yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. So, if there's no further discussion, let's take a vote. All in favor? Great. Thanks for looking into this, Yvette, and being proactive. I think
Mhm.
that's a wonderful service
Mhm.
that.
I don't have anything else in my director's report unless you have some other questions.
I have one question. You know, you said up here that the safety committee is resuming their meetings. What types of issues do they discuss?
They discuss everything. You know, if there's an incident report, if someone tripped and fell, you know, they really talk about everything, but we do have a manual and they review it. And usually there are just questions that come up over the normal course of the day in business, and so they meet regularly to discuss those. And then, you know, what other kinds of changes need to be made to any of the manual procedures, what kind of training should they look for the staff, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other questions for Yvette about her report?
I just wanted to say, hey, yay, school's back, and you guys are doing your outreach to the school, and I think that's really good for the community.
Great. Anything else? Okay,
Okay.
let's move on to the treasurer's report. Janet.
Yes. That's done. Okay. That's the budget. There's the balance. Okay, I'm looking at the balance sheet.
You know, I don't think I got the balance sheet. Did you did? Oh, I got it. Oh, no, that's.
Would you like to see mine? I can look on.
Yeah, I was trying to get it for you, but
Yeah, I don't,
I knocked myself out of the system.
I didn't print it out, I don't know why, 'cause
Okay.
all right,
'Cause I
so
sent it
it's
probably like
fines.
3 weeks before our meeting.
Thank you, by the way.
Okay. So in our fines, our starting balance for August was $22,701.38. And we ended the month with $24,055.44. And then special. We started with a balance of $12,819.36, and we ended the month with a balance of $14,194.44.
Anything unusual, outstanding?
No. Passports are doing really well.
It's all
In an
good.
unusual move for me, I actually did some numbers on that. It's like averaging $800 a month.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and I also sent out the budget versus actuals, and it's again, just so you can keep seeing how each of the different account areas, where the money's being spent specifically, in all combined. And there's nothing huge on that one either. It's just progressing along,
Great.
so.
We're not off budget anywhere.
Now, the first couple months, or even the first 6 months, we won't see too much anyway,
Yeah.
so. It's all good.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Janet?
No.
Okay. Actually, I guess I have a question for the board.
Sure.
So I send out the balance sheet, which is what I go over at least just with the
Mhm.
starting and ending balances. And then I give you guys each a fines and a special profit and loss detail that per month shows you, if you look at it, specifically where the money goes, whether it's copier or materials or programs. And then there's a 3-month profit and loss
Mm.
that shows you at least, it's a sliding window of the last 3 months. Are you still interested in all of those?
I am.
Okay, that's all I needed. Okay.
I'll look at them
Yeah.
if I'm not a money person, so it's very helpful to me.
It's totally fine. I have no problem doing it. I just, if it was just too much information, then I'll just look at it and go, oh, okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Acceptance of minutes.
So that would be the August 20th minutes.
Do you want to go over guidelines?
We're doing minutes right now.
I didn't have anything I needed to be changed or
Yeah.
corrected.
I had a couple things.
Okay.
Okay, so, we're on the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's right under personnel.
Okay, wait a second here, I've got to find
Oh, yeah, that can't be.
Yeah, exactly.
my. What was it?
It's, under personnel.
Oh, here's the reporting.
I had to do a double take.
Under personnel.
Starts with Laura Felt move that
Yeah, Laura
between
wasn't
Laura wasn't
there.
there.
and building.
I was here in July, but
Yeah,
not
Yeah,
this
but I
is-
know.
This is August.
Yeah, I know, I noticed that as well.
That's why I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. All right, I just,
It's on page 2, close
yes,
to the top.
but I actually have to find them.
But
I know I
that's for
printed them.
July.
I will find
You
them.
mean in July or
as
No,
soon as we're done.
August.
Oh,
Yeah, August, right,
that's
right.
not good.
I'm glad someone caught it, 'cause I didn't.
I was here in spirit.
There you
Right,
go.
no, I have them. I just don't know where they are. Oh,
Do we have to watch our video to see who?
I'm doomed.
I will not be watching the video, so if someone else would like to watch the video, I'll listen to it. But
I just have had a difficult day.
So would that mean we would be just accepting them
Yeah,
under
so
amendments.
was that-
Yes,
or-
I'll,
Okay.
Karen, can you look back and see who actually made the motion, and then we'll move forward from there?
I
But-
have all that.
Yep,
I
that's
do.
fine.
I
That's
just-
fine.
I have no doubt.
So if you'll just make the correction, I think that's fine.
Yes, I
And-
will make the correction, thank you.
Thank you.
And the only other comment I had was, actually, it's just a couple lines down under maintenance. The library will hire a camera to go through. That was a little awkward to me.
What?
Exactly. That's what it says. The library will
Maintenance.
hire a camera to go through the drains to have a record of all pipes.
Oh, yes.
Of all pipes' condition.
Of plumbing.
So
Okay.
that, just that sentence.
a camera.
It's gonna be
Yes,
scoped.
library will hire company to send camera, and that's under maintenance.
Yep.
And then also, personnel is Laura,
Yeah,
not there.
right.
Yep.
Long distance.
And it's, yeah, that's fine. It's just a typo, but.
I guess page 2 was difficult for me. You know, I'm gonna.
It's a lot of
find-
information.
Well, I,
Yep, that's it.
thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh. No worries. Okay, thanks for catching that. Any
Yes,
other?
Thank everybody for catching that. What did I?
Okay. So, should we have a motion to accept the minutes with as corrected?
As corrected. I'll correct them.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected for the August 20th.
August 20th.
I'll second.
meeting.
Okay. All in favor? Great. Okay. Committee updates.
We have a non-public.
Non-public
the
meetings.
end.
I always forget that. I
Yeah,
have it
we have a
attached, the
non-public.
non-public minutes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Non-public
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay. Janet,
Oh.
what would I do without you? You're always reminding me of the
I just have
non-public. I
everything
have
in
it
front
right
of me,
here.
that's why.
So we need to look at the non-public minutes.
I didn't have an issue.
And I have mine right here. So, find
We
those.
weren't there. I didn't have any issue.
I might have it somewhere.
Any concerns or comments, anything that needs to be changed on the non-public minutes? Okay.
I make a motion to accept the non-public minutes from August 20th.
I'll second that.
I'm looking at July 23rd.
That'll do it.
Oh, that's right, I pulled up the wrong
Yeah,
one.
no, we have
Oh,
the
you
August
know what,
20th.
those were already accepted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was Janet and Deborah. Did we vote?
All in favor? Great. All right, is there anything else I forgot?
No.
Thank you.
Not that I
Okay,
see.
committee updates. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library. Anything from the Friends?
We're on hiatus, right?
Still on hiatus?
They're meeting in September.
In September.
Aha, here we are, I found it.
Okay. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund, we rescheduled a meeting that was going to be held this Monday. We will be meeting October 23rd. And the Town Center Committee, anything on that?
Yeah, we met on the 23rd of August, which was right after the last meeting. There are no new projects particularly ongoing. They're thinking of putting up solar signs by Woodbury Street to slow down the traffic, especially when high school lets out. And those are going through the town manager and so on to try and make it a little safer to leave the area, which really doesn't relate to the library that much, except just try to slow the traffic down. And that was about it. Everything is pretty much waiting for schools to start, because students are going to do some videos, and that's gonna all start.
Great.
So, that's all. And and the next meeting, I'm not October 4th, so.
Great, thank you. Let's see, we'll move on to the Library Board of Trustees committees. The Personnel Committee, do you have anything to report or anything?
Well, we met with Yvette, but that is going to be in the non-public.
Okay, great, thank you. Building and maintenance, I would say we met to discuss the KIP with Yvette, which we already briefed you on, so. And Finance Committee.
You're looking at me.
I am.
Oh, sorry. One point of business we have is that we should review as a board the guidelines for management of library funds. And this is a document you should all have in your manuals. Janet and I reviewed it, and we did not see anything that we would recommend any changes on, but to let the document stand as it is unless anyone has anything they would like to address. Anything they would like to address.
I had a question, more just for clarification. On the guidelines for management of library funds, under town budget-related funds, it says only the trustees may move money from one line item to another on the town budget. I just was wondering about that one, just because, I don't know, I guess we really wouldn't be the ones doing that. We would be authorizing Yvette to do that,
Yes.
right? So,
We have to approve that.
Yeah.
okay, so, but really Yvette would be the one that would be making, you know,
Well,
coming to us
she,
with the.
she, yes, but we have to approve it
Yeah.
first. Anything that moves around in the budget, the board has to approve.
Okay. Just the way it was worded, it made it sound like we would be the ones moving it, when really it would be, Yvette would be doing it at our behest. The library director would be doing it with our approval, more than, because we do not really go to the town and move things. You know, I just wanted to
No.
clarify that
Do you
that's
want
not-
that clarified?
I actually would like
Okay.
that, if there's some way that you could word that, that
Absolutely.
we would just give the director approval, that the library trustees aren't going to the town and saying, move this, that really Yvette is the point person dealing with that sort of thing.
I
Or the
didn't,
library
I didn't even
director.
interpret it that way.
Oh, really?
I interpreted it as we would get some information from Yvette and that
No.
we would say, okay.
Right, because we know that that's the way it would work, but I guess it's, to me, when I read it, it said only the trustees may move money from one line item to another, the town budget. It's that we would authorize those movements,
Oh,
but
okay, I see what
really,
you're saying.
the library director is the one that does the actual
Right.
work with the town and moving things around, so.
So basically, we have to add that the board approves.
Authorizes that.
Or authorizes any transfer of funds from one line item to
Yeah.
another.
I think that's not quite clear, because
Okay.
this, you know, when this document was created, it was, in my memory, you know, tell the board first.
Right.
You know, and what you're saying, Deb, if it's written that way, it will be, you know, Yvette is authorized to do it before. You know, when
I see what you're saying.
when I talk to other library directors, you know, they say, well, the library director has, I mean, authority, and you know, I'm using that word kind of loosely, you know, to expend from a town budget because the budget has been approved by the board already. So then the library
Mhm.
director is acting on behalf of the board's wishes are to, pay the bills.
Right.
So, it's kind of,
So, because when I was reading it, I felt like it was tying your hands, that we were like, nope, things can't be moved from one line to another.
yes, that's how it was written.
Okay. Is that
In my
what the
memory.
actual procedure, like what actually happens, what actually is the?
We pay the bills.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
But does it
Well,
have
each
anything?
item is budgeted for an X amount, and the board would need to be aware when changes need to be made to that, because we're still responsible for the overall budget.
Right, maybe this is just in the weeds, but I'm just thinking about like, lines get spent and then money needs to be moved, right? That happens in the course of business, that's the way things work. So the way I was reading it is that I just wanted to make sure that it was that we just do we authorize it? Do we approve it? I just wanted to make sure that it was clear that we weren't the ones actually saying, move that money to the town administrators, that you are the one that does that
well,
sort of thing.
Well, it
okay,
doesn't work
so
that
this is
way.
getting a little complicated.
Okay,
According to, in terms of how the town sees the budget, there's one line,
Mhm.
library.
okay,
And then what we're doing internally is, and I've made the budget more detailed for my own clarification than it was when I picked it up,
okay,
several years ago. So it's, there's a materials line and there's a building line and so on. I think the question actually brings up a different question, because as we spend things, and Janet, you will be very familiar with this, sometimes we overspend it, it's just
Right,
sometimes
that's
we
what I'm saying,
underspend. There's
that-
a,
Yeah.
so there's a little more flexibility, as long as we don't go over the
Right.
bottom line. That's really the important thing. I think, when there is a concern, and it's more towards the end of the year, where it's like, okay, here's this, someone left, personnel line is the one that tends to, not get spent down 100% because of people leaving, and then I suggest we move this, to this line, and then the board will.
That's exactly where I was going.
Talk about
There- I was thinking the same thing. Because you're right, the town sees it essentially as one line, and even last year, there were some things that were over budget and some things that were under budget. But it is, I think it's more with respect to the end of the year stuff that,
To reallocate
exactly.
and encumber.
And to understand where
Yeah.
it wants to go, where you want it, and just that we're aware of it.
Didn't we have an example where if we wanted this budget, we were asked as the trustees to pay for a particular thing, so it didn't raise the budget?
Yeah, we had
I'm
that
thinking
last
about
year.
I think it was computers,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was.
And I don't know if that's an example of this, but that just came out in the budget discussion. I don't know if that's the same thing that we're
Trustees.
saying, but I
don't know.
remember we
It
had
was
to
like
kind of.
$8,000
Trustees pay
or
for that.
something, is that
We pay
Yeah.
for the
I guess I just wanted some clarification in how things are moving through the budget, that's all. So it's more of a sort of an ebb and flow, and you'd bring it forth and we approve and that sort of thing.
Sure, but I don't think that's how it's written. Obviously, it's not as clear for you. It's not clear, so I would agree that if you would like it rewritten for clarification to your satisfaction.
What would make it clearer for you?
Well, I would like it to just more clearly indicate that we do it at the director's discretion, or something like that. Yvette brings it forth, or the library director, or we have to approve it. I guess I don't know. It just sounded like we were the ones moving it, and really we're discussing it with the director and authorizing it as needed. So, the library director's role wasn't even mentioned in here on that line. So, and really we are making, when it's moved and we approve it, it's because Yvette has brought it forth to us, the library director. Right? Isn't that the way it normally would work? I don't know. I see Janet looking at the RSAs. Maybe I'm just making this more difficult than
I'm
it.
pretty sure that was,
I think it was based on one of the RSAs.
yeah, that's the thing. I think that was based off of an RSA. That's why I was looking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, that there wasn't a wiggle room on that,
It-
but,
it-
or it's just,
It's really
is it
just saying
semantics?
who has the authority to do that. And the detail of how it gets there
Mm-hmm.
is
Okay.
not, I don't think necessarily necessary to tell the story of how it gets there.
Okay.
Or could we have it
If we could
rewritten and then come
state
back
it
to
more
it?
clearly.
That-
but-
that's fine if
Maybe
it's.
that's it.
What did you find where it is?
Well, I don't want to hang us up on this if I'm just not
Well,
clear on the purpose.
We can look at it.
What are you going to look at?
I thought I had the RSA.
That,
Just a way to clarify, like,
Yeah.
because it does say up here, like, the library director will inform the library board of trustees and trustees in public when services and programming are added or discontinued. Like, so there is some policy here, there's also some procedure in this document, so I think it would just be nice to have it clarified what the
Have it
procedures-
clarified
Under town
that-
budget-related funds, only the trustees may move money from one line item to another on the town budget. Just open that up for some discussion. And Janet, you're gonna look at the RSAs, you
Yeah.
said, and.
we can look at, and we can rewrite or clarify or
Mhm.
amend.
What is that
whatever.
document you're looking at?
I am looking at the guidelines for management of
Okay.
library
That's-
funds,
I
because it's
just-
actually more
that's what I thought.
guidelines than policy.
Yeah.
So if we are saying that this is more, if it's guidelines, then it would be more what the actual procedures were that
sure.
take place.
Right,
versus-
exactly.
So, because I see here under 5, the board in collaboration with the director will discuss encumbered money in a public meeting. So it sounds
There
like
it
there's already
is.
been some
Yeah.
Right,
discussion of that, so.
right.
And some of this is my ignorance being new to the board, so I apologize for that. Were there any other questions or just? Do you need approval on all of these documents, the guidelines, the trust fund, and non-trust fund investment policies?
Yes.
Okay.
And as far as the other, the trust fund, the both investment policies, we recommend no change.
Okay. So could we have 2 votes on that, those 2 documents, and then maybe put the guidelines as an action item for next time?
Well, there's 3. There's also library trust fund investment policy.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
what we
I
just
said.
said, but
Oh,
we're not.
non-trust fund investment policy.
Yep.
That's two.
That's 2, and then the
Okay.
guidelines would be on the
Okay.
agenda for next time?
Right, the investment policies will get,
So you're lumping them together, the non-trust fund and the
Yeah.
Well,
trust-
we
okay.
can make them separate motions, obviously. I was just thinking we could vote on those and get those
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay. So the committee recommends that there's no changes. Do you, does anybody have any concerns or anything they'd like to bring up before we put a motion forward?
So the only point I heard was to clarify that one line.
On the guidelines, so if we
Okay.
can put that on the, in action items, and then we will, perhaps take a vote on the other 2 policies. Janice, does that sound good to
Yeah.
you? Okay. So,
So I move that we approve the non-trust fund investment policy and the library trust fund investment policies with no changes.
I'll second that.
Okay, right.
So we did one.
Do we need to
both.
do them separately, or, no, you're good with me?
I'm good with them.
All
both,
right.
so.
All in favor? Okay. And thank you for taking a minute to consider my concern, and we'll look at that going forward. Okay. Karen, I'm sorry. I'm a fast talker, and
It's
I
okay.
apologize.
No, it's okay. It's just that we're kind of bouncing, and I just
Mhm.
want to make sure I get it straight. Okay, got it.
Okay, so we are on review September action items. So I have that we are going to all let
Oh,
Yvette.
What about the guidelines? We're
I-
gonna
I-
table
I-
that
I
until next
tabled
time.
it as an
until-
action
okay.
item
That's
Yeah.
our
Okay.
action
until
Sorry.
October.
So that is one action item right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The other one, we are all gonna let Yvette know the nights we were not available in October.
Yep.
Janet, you were going to move the funds?
Yep.
Wait, Okay, the nights available.
Not
for-
available in October. Yeah.
Oh, right, not available.
For a particular meeting, right?
For the
Yes.
Yeah, or if there's really only 2 nights you're available, let her know those. So
No, I meant like it was
Yeah.
for a particular reason.
Not
For the
available
building.
For
building-
building, the building development.
Building Exploratory Committee.
Exploratory.
The
Committee.
BAC. We like an acronym. BAC.
Okay, nights not available, that's one action item, and then the other action item is,
Janet was going to be moving the funds as she was directed by the board to the Blue Chip Fund.
oh, yes, $10,000.
And Yvette was going to get a quote for us on the railing installation. And we will take a look at the guidelines after we all do our own digging into the RSA and some thoughts there. Or maybe it's not even that deep. Maybe we'll just come back and we'll have an answer. Was there anything else I missed for action items? Janet, I know you have
No,
one.
no, I just had a question for Yvette, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of backing up. With the railings
Yep.
and the steps and everything?
Yep.
Is that trustee money or town money?
There was a CIP that was approved already.
Oh,
think.
okay.
I'd have to look back in the file, because I didn't bring all of the old CIPs, but I think that was,
Okay.
I don't know, good question.
I
That
didn't
could
know.
be an action item.
I'll look.
Okay. Were there any action items I missed? Anything? All right, so it looks like a busy month of September for the
It
library.
does.
There is the Friends of the Library Fall Book Sale this weekend, September 21st and 22nd, with the pre-sale September 20th. That's for members of Friends. So another good reason to join the Friends. September 24th at 7 p.m., The Secret Life of Library Books Collection Development will be held. September 25th at the MHS Little Theater, Bajalian, thank you. That I was going to say Bojalian, it's Bajalian.
Mhm.
Oh, wonderful. Fiction
Yeah, I
as
saw that.
activism, fantastic. September 30th at 7, the Friends of the Library Board meeting will be held. October 15th, we'll be meeting again. And on October 23rd, the Public Library Development Fund Committee will be meeting. So lots of great things happening. Any comments from the press, public, or board before we go into non-public session?
Oh,
Okay, then, I have right here my non-public session procedures. So, we need a motion to enter non-public session, and we just have to, basically, the roll call is to see who is actually here as we go in. So, we just, instead of we were saying roll call and we would all vote, I think you just have to say, like, present, 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 that we're all here. And then we will make a vote to go into non-public session. So Janice is here. Janice
Here.
present. Karen, I'm following my checklist here.
Here.
Yvette, I'm only board member, sorry, Yvette. Deb Cole, present.
Present.
I'm present. Okay,
Would you
do we have
please pass
a motion
that
to
down?
enter non-public session?
I motion that we enter a non-public session at
Second.
8:31.
At 8:30, and we need a second?
Laura did it.
Uh-huh. Oh, you know what, I messed up, and then we do the vote by name, so I'm sorry. And we vote individually, so
Yes.
each, yes. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get it right next time. I'm following this thing from the state. All right, we will go into non-public session officially at 8:31.